What's going on, guys? Rybombie Teacher in the house, and I'm here with a little quick update for the Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC trailer that dropped. We're over on Serebii.net, and of course Joe Merrick, who is a master of information gathering, has actually come out with some really good information for us, and some really cool details that are absolutely really interesting to watch, including some of the Pokemon that I thought did confirm a couple of the things that I was debating on, and also confirmed I was wrong on a couple of things. So we're going to have a look. So he talks about when the armor date is. Of course, we know it's released on the 17th of June, which is cool. But we see the two new Reggie Pokemon, a Regieleki, kind of a weird name, not sure I'm a huge fan of that, with a new ability called Transistor. Has a new move, Thunder Cage, which was the move that we saw in the trailer, which deals damage and traps them in Electrified Cage for 4 or 5 turns. That's pretty much like a Whirlpool type thing. Pretty interesting. I'm guessing the Electrified Cage does damage. It doesn't really say that. And then the new one is Regidrago. Kind of a more convincing name. Dragon type with a new ability, Dragon's Maw, and the move Dragon Energy, which does more damage to higher HP, so basically a Dragon type Eruption or Water Spell. Pretty cool new move, definitely interesting. So we know the new Reggie is Dragon. I thought there may have been a possibility it was Dark, but it is definitely Dragon, haven't looked at it again. And then he goes on to talk about the Galarian birds. This was something that I wasn't convinced on at the time. Galarian Articuno is Psychic Flying with Competitive, which is a cool ability for it. And the new move Freezing Glare, which may leave the target frozen. So I'm assuming that's like a psychic version of Ice Beam. That would be kind of interesting. Zapdos is actually a fighting and flying type with the ability Defiant, and has Thunderous Kick, which does damage and lowers defense. That's really cool. It looks like a fighting version of Trop Kick that Serena has. Only Trop Kick lowers attack, so that's really interesting. Kind of a nice little variation there. And Moltres is Dark Flying, which we expected with the Berserk ability, and a new move Fiery Wrath that does damage and causes opponent to flinch. Pretty cool. Seems like a special type Crunch. Like a special type binding move. That's kind of cool. I like that. Pretty cool, actually. The Galarian birds do look interesting. It's interesting that they kept their flying types. I'm pretty happy that they did. There were some people speculating that they might lose their flying types, which kind of felt weird for the birds. But yeah, nonetheless, we got the flying types kept. Dark Fighting and Psychic is a decent enough core to work with. I don't think many people predicted the Psychic one, but definitely the other two makes a lot of sense. There was an outside shot, because it looks weird that the Zapdos looked to be using the fire move in the trailer. But nah, it's definitely a fighting move. Looking at it back. Okay, next thing. Galarian Slowbro is Poison Psychic type, which we knew from the trailer, we saw it immediately. It has a new ability, Quick Draw, and the new move, Sidearm Smash, which only it can learn. It poisons the opponent, does physical or special damage based on which does the more damage. I think that's supposed to say most damage. Joe, but whatever. That's cool. So, I said this when I did my initial trailer reaction, that Poison Psychic's a really good offensive typing. Defensively, it's not as good, so I'm kind of intrigued to see what kind of stats Galarian Slowbro is going to have. Is it going to have like a major stat change from regular Slowbro? Because of course regular Slowbro is known for being like a bulky Pokemon rather than offensive. This seems like with Quick Draw and Sidearm Smash, that it seems like it's going to be more offensive. I'm interested to see what Quick Draw actually does. I can definitely imagine it's like if it uses like a poison type move or like a shooting type move, that it probably may have priority. I don't know. That would kind of be an interesting thing. There's a lot of things we can speculate over what Quick Draw does. We don't actually know at this point. Alright, so then we look at the Gigantamax moves. Venusaur's max move is Gmax Vine Lash, which does damage and continues to do 4 turns to any non-grass type Pokemon. So it's basically Charizard but grass type. And then Blastoise, his Gmax move is Gmax Cannonade, which does damage and continues to damage for 4 turns to any non-water type. Okay, so they gave the other Kanto starters basically Charizard's ability for their type. I'm cool with that. I think it makes sense. It fits the set perfectly nicely. I don't have a problem with that. I do actually really like Blastoise's design. I'm not a huge fan of Venusaur's, honestly. I really don't like the max move. I don't like the animation of it. But hey, we can't have everything, right? Alright, so Gigantamax Urshifu, which does confirm is G-Max, of course. The Single Strike's max move is max 1 blow, and Rapid Strike is max rapid flow. These can do damage even if the target defends itself. Oh, okay. So it breaks through Protect. That's cool. That's definitely interesting. So does this break through Max Guard as well, though? That's the only thing I'm interested in, because typically the Max Guard move blocks every Max move. But judging by the way this is worded, it seems like it can go through Max Guard. That's kind of interesting. Alright, so we got a new thing here. Hidden ability, Grookey, Scorbunny, and Sobble are now available from Pokemon Home if you deposit a Pokemon from Sword and Shield. Okay, that's cool. There's the item, which is the one I was completely confused by, the Cramomatic, which lets you combine up to 4 items together to make new items. Oh, okay. That's kind of weird, but kind of interesting at the same time. It reminds me a little bit of in Pokemon Imperium with like the Lucky Oaks and the Lucky Shells for getting Lucky Eggs. You get different items based on the items you put into it. There are move tutor moves given in exchange for Armorite or a substance found from max raid battles in the Isle of Armor. Okay, so there is new stuff in there. The first, a fire-type move, Burning Jealousy, damages both opponents and has a chance of burning the opponent if they had the stat boosted during this turn. It kind of seems like a very oddly specific kind of move, but I like the fact it's got a weird spread move. The Grass-type one, Grassy Glide, is boosted in priority and grassy terrain. Makes sense. And in the Isle of Armor, you can make Dynamax Soup, which was what that weird pot thing was with the Dynamax circles around it, which when a Pokemon with the potential to Dynamax drinks it, it can become Gigantamax. That's massive. That is really, really huge, because a lot of the time you can catch, or you can breed a perfect IV Pokemon that could Gigantamax, but obviously it didn't have the Gigantamax trait, so the fact that you can now actually give it the Gigantamax trait is actually really, really important for creating competitive Pokemon. So I'm actually really happy that this exists. I don't know how, if there's like a success rate to this, if you need to be max Dynamax level. That doesn't really give us any detail on that, but for a breakdown, that looks really, really strong. I think that's going to be very impactful for creating Pokemon. I definitely like this inclusion. I think it's really nice. In the Crown Tundra, Dynamax Adventure is a game where 4 players together investigate the Dynamax raid dens. I wonder if that's like you and 3 AIs, or you can do this with other players. It doesn't really say that per se. It just says 4 players, but it doesn't necessarily say what those 4 players are. So if we can actually just literally just do raid dens like we can normally in the DLC. Nothing too important, nothing too special. We can do it now anyway in the base game. So that's nothing too special, but that's kind of cool that that exists. Alright, next bit. In the Crown Tundra, there's a new feature called Galarian Star Tournament in Winden, which we saw in the trailer. Initially playing multi-battles against various characters from the story. Yeah, we saw this from the trailer. That was kind of cool. We also saw a lot of the new Pokemon in. Urshifu's new ability, Unseen Fist, allows for you to damage Pokemon that have used Protect. Okay, so that's how that works. I did wonder. It was added in later down. So Unseen Fist allows you to basically to break through Protect. That's kind of powerful, actually. That's a really, really strong ability. But again, it doesn't talk about Max Guard, because Max Guard and Protect work kind of similar, but kind of different at the same time. So I'm interested to see if it does go through Max Guard. I would assume, based on how this is worded and how it talks, then yeah, it definitely is. And then, of course, they've added a lot of the new screenshots and the Galarian forms and the new Pokemon into the relevant pages on Serebii. We're not going to click on those. Feel free to do that for yourself. But yeah, that's going to be another look at it. Really, really cool little bits of details confirmed. Really excited for a lot of these Pokemon. Definitely excited for the new Galarian birds. I'm kind of interested in Galarian Slowbro. I really want to see a bit more on it. I want to know what it's like. Because I think Galarian Slowpoke has the same stats as Cantonian one. But I'm interested to see if Slowbro has any change. Anything like that. Any redistributions done. But either way, that's going to be it from me, so thank you so much for watching. My name is Robomi Teacher. I'm your coach of the Robomer for Bummies. Stay safe, stay awesome, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.